All right, 1-0. Week 1 in the books. Vikings win. What'd you think, man?
Big win, man. We're undefeated right now. That's what I like to see. Dude, there's just so much to talk about. I mean, I was like super excited for whenever Mike Hughes is going to make his big play, and it happened week 1 against Jimmy Garoppolo. So it was just that was my favorite point of the game, was to see him not just have a pick but score. I mean, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, you can't ask for like a better start for a rookie. Like, granted, like it kind of was easy. Like, it came right to
Sure.
him, the receivers out of the way, but like what a good confidence booster.
Yeah.
He played reasonably well all game, I thought, but yeah, I love seeing him score a touchdown early on. I love seeing Kirk Cousins, man. I love seeing the Vikings having a quarterback that can deliver like precision passes.
Both touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, the throw to Diggs in the corner of the end zone, and then Rudolph,
Oh.
great passes. Man, he just had a lot of velocity. Like, he looked awesome. What did you think?
No, I thought he looked awesome. I mean, like the touchdown to Diggs was one of the best throws of the weekend by most quarterbacks. And then the rest of the game, there were a couple there were a couple problems, obviously, but it mainly looked like timing issues. There was one where Diggs got around Richard Sherman, but it kind of got jammed up a little bit. So he had his man beat, and Cousins overthrew him, but he kind of got jammed for a little too long.
Yeah.
Like, it made sense. And there were a few of those happening. A couple with Thielen too. A couple where Thielen dropped, which is uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Thielen dropped, I think, 2 passes, and I think part of it is because he's not used to a quarterback throwing the ball so hard, right?
and accurate, because
Yeah.
he had a catch where it was like high away from his body behind him, and it looked like a Case Keenum throw. And I'm
he's like, that's what I'm used to.
like, there's Thielen from last year.
Yeah, but no, he had 2 specific throws. One, he ran like a quick slant, and Cousins just drilled it, and it was an amazing throw. It was between like 2 defending, like 2 linemen, hit Thielen right in the hands, and it was just like it surprised him how good a throw it was. And then he had another one, kind of going over the middle where Cousins threw it just like a little bit behind him, and he dropped that one too. But I think he'll get that figured out. I think he's not used to catching passes with that much velocity on him.
Yeah, I mean, with his performance in the preseason, I thought that maybe he wouldn't be as as much of an accent as he was last year, because he got one or two catches in the preseason.
Yeah.
It felt like he was just going to be Diggs all day.
Yeah.
And even for the first drive, I was like, oh, that looks like it's the way it's going to be, like 2 catches and a touchdown for Diggs on the first drive alone, or something like that. But then after that, it was like 10 targets for Thielen,
Yeah.
I think. 5 catches for over 100 yards.
No,
so.
I thought it was perfect, man. It was like good balance between
Oh.
him. Diggs scored, and we know Diggs is going to get plenty of action. And you're
Yeah.
right, Thielen, I was a little concerned about
Right,
Thielen,
yeah.
but no, it was perfect.
And then Rudolph getting a touchdown was great. I mean, I think that was his only target the whole game, which is kind of like, man, maybe we need to design a little bit more, because our offense stalled big time in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think if there's any concern from the game, that's probably it, right? So let's talk about that. The second half, we had a lead. We had an opportunity to just completely put the game away. The defense was playing well, and the offense, several 3-and-outs, just kind of
frustrating.
misfires. Are you concerned about that?
I mean, it seemed like we were just playing it a little too close to the chest. Like we were just running pretty much every first down, and it wasn't amounting to anything. So that second down incompletions literally was just third and 10,
Yeah.
and we were facing that. And there were a couple times where we'd do that first down run, went nowhere, incompletion, 3rd and 10, and we would convert on it. But then the next drive would look the same exact way.
Yeah.
So I think we just weren't going for it enough.
Yeah. No, see, that makes sense. And I think, like, I would have liked to see a little bit more creative play calling. Like, and this was interesting with our first game with John DeFilippo. Like, one thing he didn't do much of, which we killed it with last year, and I hope that we do more of, was like the short crossing routes with both Diggs and Thielen. Like, not like slants, but like dragging across the formation. And
Yeah.
Diggs would get open on those all day long. Like, I would have liked to see a few of those instead of those first down runs that kept getting stuffed. But, it felt to me like we had the game under control. And like, yes, we should have done more on offense, but it also felt like he was trying to grind the clock more than anything else.
And I mean, when your defense is playing that good, I guess that's the mindset you have to take. I mean, for me watching, it's terrifying because we're giving the ball back to them every single time.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we're giving them another chance and another chance. And maybe to them, they're going, well, they're not going to score against their defense anyway, so let's just milk as much time as we can on offense. Because, I mean, man, our defense, what was it, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, a forced fumble. It was like it couldn't have been better. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Scored a
touchdown
touchdown.
was out of this world from Garoppolo. I mean, that was a spinning away from a sack heave to the back corner of the end zone. And other than that, 0 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I think our defense just looks super impressive.
Yeah. What did you think about Dalvin Cook?
So, I mean, I liked seeing him catch balls out of the backfield. He was our second leading receiver with like 60 yards, I think. Um, and running, he definitely slowed down at the end. Again, I'm gonna chalk that up to like game management and like it's just like the way that the game was going. They probably were banking on us running a lot, so it was just him getting stuffed a lot. But I mean, the run he had when he fumbled was really impressive. Like I think it showed his game breaking ability.
I mean, it was like a smaller Adrian Peterson, like just bouncing
It
off
really
people,
was. It was
accelerating.
like 3 or 4 broken tackles, and literally the last guy may not have even tackled him, but he punched the ball out, and it was like,
Yeah. No, I thought he looked good, man. He looked explosive. He looked confident. I think he'll definitely have better games in terms of yardage. Like I don't think his rushing
Stat-wise,
yardage was
for
all
sure.
that impressive stat wise. But yeah, he was catching the ball. He looked confident. He looked he looked like he didn't lose a step since last year.
Oh yeah, he looked if anything quicker and faster. Like I said, I think it was just like the game time management wasn't great for him in the second half there, but he looked good.
Yeah. All right, let's talk defense for a second. You already kind of hit on the highlights, but man, like they just look dominant at every level, right? I mean, Xavier Rhodes with the sick interception.
Oh, the one-handed
Mike
pick.
Hughes. I mean, Harrison Smith played out of his mind. Sandejo probably breaking up 3 or 4 passes. The defensive line had pressure all day. Richardson was creating pressure from up the middle, which we didn't get last year. It's going to make the ends job that much easier. The only thing I didn't notice a lot from Barr or from Kendricks, but I feel like it's because like everyone else was just handling their business.
Right. It's like, I mean, I didn't notice anything bad from them either.
Right.
Though, right. Like I can recall a couple Kendricks deflections when he was in coverage, which was cool. But yeah, I liked seeing Sandejo because you figure from Harrison Smith, maybe I didn't figure that good. Maybe I didn't figure a sack, an interception, 2 tackles for losses, and 8 tackles like on game 1. But I mean, you can't, like, nothing surprises me at this point. And then our D-line, I knew it would be dominant. But Sandejo, especially with the addition of Iloka, maybe even feeling like he's kind of fighting for his spot a little, looked awesome. I mean, that fumble on the goal line, I know it was Richardson that punched out, but it might as well have been given to him because he came in and just laid a huge hit on Alfred Morris. So I really liked the way that everybody on the defense looked. I mean, it was awesome. If anything, they were out there for such a long time that I'm impressed that they only gave up 1 touchdown.
Yeah, the offense didn't do enough to keep them off the field in the second half. Only concern I have about the defense, and this is almost nitpicking at this point, was just there were several plays where they schemed guys wide open. Like there was that one drive where like 3 times in a row they faked a run to the right, and then the tight end cut back behind everybody. And they did that 3 times in a row, and that shouldn't happen. Yeah. And then there were 2 plays later in the game, one to the tight end Kittles that he dropped, and then one to I think it was the fullback that he caught. Big gains, and that was a little too much like chunk plays that we gave up that we didn't really do a ton of last year. But again, you leave your defense out there the whole time. What can you expect?
And against a good play caller like Shanahan, I mean, it was literally Zimmer going against Shanahan all the time. So, I mean, if you give him that many plays, like you said, it's probably a mixture of him having that many opportunities to go against their defense. Because it's the same thing. We say, oh, it's 3 times in a row. We should eventually be able to scheme. But maybe he's looking at our defense for 12 plays and then eventually going, okay, this is the play that's going to work. And he's calling this play on us, and now Zimmer's got to adjust to that. And I mean, I have a lot of respect for him. I think they even said it on during the game that they consider him like top 3 play callers in the NFL. So I mean, for us to do that against him it says a lot because there's not going to be much more than that out there.
And Jimmy Garoppolo, that was his first loss as a starter, right? He
first
was
interception.
7-0 coming into it. First interception, and he threw 3 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the Niners are a good team.
Yeah.
And we just came out and made a statement. It wasn't like a spectacular victory, but I feel like it was a legitimate Super Bowl team in the Vikings coming out and handling their business in week 1. Just getting the job done. The game never for a moment felt out of control.
Not at all.
Of course, there's things we could have done better, but it felt like we were saving plays for week 2 against the Packers. It felt like we were just handling our business.
Yeah, no, it felt great. And man, could the 49ers not handle the Minnesota air? They were just going down right and left. I mean, I don't mean to make light of it because, I mean, there seemed to be some really severe injuries. But it was wild, man. It was like every play, another lineman was going down. Yeah. Goodwin goes down. All these guys, and I mean, they don't know what it's like to play in Minnesota and to just naturally be injured all the time.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, honestly. Well, and we stayed completely healthy as far as I know, and that's awesome. Daniel Carlson,
Hey.
Made his field goal, hit his extra points.
And I consider extra points now to be kind of field goals because they're a little further. Knocked down all 3, no trouble at all. And there were some kicking problems throughout the NFL. So, I mean, it was great to see it, man.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, cool, man. All right, who's your player of the game?
Player of the game. Gotta go Harrison Smith. It's kind of hard to fight with that stat line. I want to give it to Mike Hughes because he got the touchdown. And he had a nice breakup in the end zone. I know they say Pierre Garçon dropped that ball, but he broke that thing up really well. But... nah, Harrison Smith.
Yeah, you got to go Harrison Smith. Just to be different, I'm going to say Kirk Cousins. First game in a new team, new teammates, new offensive coordinator, came out. I don't think he made any, he missed a few throws, but he made no significant mistakes.
Right.
A lot of good throws. It just feels so good to have like a top quarterback. I mean, it's since Brett Favre that we had a quarterback with that level of velocity. I mean, we love Teddy Bridgewater, Bradford, Keenum, like all good guys. But I mean, Cousins just has accuracy and velocity at a different level.
It's definitely something different there. Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. Awesome. We're 1-0. Took care of business. And check back a little later this week. We're going to have our full game preview edition and all the usual stuff later this week. So that's it.
Undefeated, baby.
See you guys next time.